One more coach to go this morning here on the College Basketball Preview Show, and it is the only new coach of everyone we're speaking with. He is the first-year head coach at the Naval Academy. He is John Perry, and he is with us this morning. Coach, it's Glenn and Patrick. It's great to chat with you. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Great to see you both. Patrick, good to see you. Glenn, thanks so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Saving the best for last, right,
There
guys?
we go. There we go. Coach, I want to get back to it because I do think obviously you guys have a chance very much to be the best in the Patriot League this year. But I wonder for you, from when we talked in the spring and you getting the job, you've been there for so long. Is there anything that maybe has even surprised you as someone who's been there, who's been alongside Ed, has seen everything that he's done? Is there anything that you said, I still didn't know this about being the head coach at Navy?
It's a great question, and think about it a lot. The biggest thing is just the amount of decisions that fall on me every day for our program, right? Ultimately, I'm trying to serve the staff and serve a roster full of wonderful young guys, and then serve the Naval Academy. And you think you got your day planned, and there's 50 things a day that come up that you need to make a decision on that you just haven't planned for. And so you just got to take them one thing at a time. And sometimes you're able to make a quick decision on certain things, but other things, take a little bit longer. And that's one of the great lessons I learned from Coach DeChellis, of just that ability to discern a little bit. And something he always told me was never make an important decision after 4 o'clock. Sleep on it.
We talked a lot this morning with other coaches about turnover and not having a lot of guys back, and then you've got a situation where you got 5 starters back, including a preseason player of the year in Austin Benigni in the Patriot League. Just how that doesn't guarantee anything, but how reassuring is it to know that you've worked with all of these guys, that you're going to be counting on a lot this season?
Yeah, the consistency's there. The continuity is coming back. Our summer is a little bit different than everybody else's, but I think it's great because we do 3.5 weeks of ball and summer school where most people are doing 8 weeks. So, I think there's life in the balance. They've got to be young guys, and so we're still trying to work on that continuity piece. We still got a long way to go, but it's great having a starting rotation coming back and a really, really strong senior class.
I feel like Patrick brings up Austin, and how do you explain what that young man has meant to this program, and what does he mean as a leader to your group?
He has unbelievable mental toughness and resiliency. He's first in the gym, he's last to leave, and I think you want that in a point guard. You also want a guy that can take command of the game at times, and he is that. And you also want a guy that really wants to serve his teammates, and he does that in a lot of different ways. But he sets the example on how hard we want to play and how hard we want to work. And so, we're very appreciative of that. Everything he's gotten in life, that young guy's earned.
This is such a new era thing for college basketball. Can you shed any light to us about what that's like when someone says, hey, I don't know, I want to dip my toe into the water and see what might be out there, and how you handle it, and how there's no hurt feelings in a situation like that?
Yeah, obviously I know Austin very well and his family very well from, starting to recruit the guy here at Navy. And ultimately, I just want what is best for him. And I think as you get to know these young guys, then you can help them with their basketball game and their futures. But if you don't get to know them as people and you don't really understand their goals and aspirations, it's hard to help them with that basketball decision. And he's a guy that wanted to test the waters, and I think he's got a strong faith, and he's got a wonderful family, and he listens to the right people. He's got a board of directors that has been strong in his life, and he used all of his resources, and we just tried to be here for him, and I tried to ask questions and stay curious through the process, and ultimately let him figure it out on his own, because that's what has to happen.
When you look at Donovan Draper, a guy that didn't even play basketball his first year at the academy, comes over, rebounds like a Tasmanian devil kind of there. That there's the last 2 years. What's the next step for him, and just how important is he going to be to get where you want to get to this season?
Draper's next step is really becoming an offensive threat for us. A guy that can get double digits for us, not just offensive rebounding, right, but figuring out ways to get to the free throw line and be a consistent night in, night out scorer for us. And if he can do that, our team will make great strides. His focus has leveled up. His preparation and understanding how to prepare for games and in different opponents is better than it has been. And this is really his junior year of college basketball, even though he's a senior. But everything is slowing down for him, and I'm excited for him. I think he's going to have a big year for us and our program.
The psychology of how you handle a team when they go through the heartbreak of reaching a championship game and coming up short, and particularly with you taking over as head coach, is it a nurture thing? Do you pretend like it never happened? Do you use it to fuel? Like what is the psychology for you as a coach of handling something like that?
A great question. Something I think about at all hours of the day, and I'm going to continue to think about, because I'm always wondering what the pulse of the team is. Right? I'm asking myself that a million times a day, and my gut has told me, and I don't know if it's the right thing to do. Time will tell, but it's to talk about it. And make it part of our everyday and who we are and what we're aspiring to be. Now, ultimately, we can only control our attitude and our effort and our response to things. And those three things are really, really important, not just in the game of basketball, but life. But we've got to show up every day. We've got to be everyday guys. We're trying to do our jobs. We're trying to work hard. And we're always trying to put the team first. And if we can do those three things consistently, I think we'll be able to play our best basketball, when it matters most. And we're just trying to get really good at doing common things in uncommon ways, and be really fundamentally sound in the basics of the game.
I think about toward the end of last season, when you guys started playing well, it kind of coincided when Mike Woods started to play a little bit more for you guys. I know he's your team captain this year. He had that great game with the 7 steals against Loyola in the regular season finale. Had another 8 steals in the conference tournament. How much behind the scenes and in terms of intangibles does he give you, and how important is he for this year's team?
Yeah, he's our captain. The team is behind him. Unanimous decision. He gives us purpose. He gives us direction. He gives us motivation on a daily basis. And that doesn't just happen. I tell the guys all the time, captains act like captains before they're nominated as captains. And he's been working on this from the time he was at Naps until now being a senior. So really, he's a 5th-year guy for us. He's trusted. He takes initiative. He uses great judgment. He never compromises our standards. He empowers others. He speaks with conviction. I can't say enough good things about him. And I think ultimately he just leads by example. And that is the best thing that you can have when you've got a person like him.
You have such a veteran team and guys that have defined, carved roles, but is there someone, whether it's a newcomer or that you could just see stepping into maybe a larger role this season, Coach?
Yeah, I think everybody's got to step up if we want to be Patriot League regular season champions, and we don't want to be a preseason story. We want to be a postseason story. So, being ranked number 1 is great. There's a lot of great coaches in this league. There's a lot of talent, a lot of new talent. The league's going to be really good. And I think it's going to all work itself out later down the road. But we're just going to kind of focus on what we can control on a daily basis.
Everybody, every year we had the conversation with Ed about what the Veterans Classic has meant. This is the first time we've been able to talk to you about it. But obviously it's the first home game you're playing. But more than that, you've been a part of this event since its inception. What does it mean to you to be the head coach at Navy for an event like this, an opportunity for so many around the sport to see the academy, to see what it is that your kids do every day?
It's an honor. It's an honor and a privilege. I mean, this is a dream job for me, and I'm going to try to do everything I can for this program and these players and the staff. To be able to host these three teams, is don't really have words for it. I mean, they're going to experience the Naval Academy in a way that others don't get to do, with the static displays and watching formation and doing some leadership development and eating lunch in King Hall with the students and learning the ins and outs and their stories on why they chose to do what they're doing for our country. It's just a really unique setting. It's the 12th year of it. And I think it's an opportunity for the town of Annapolis, who's super supportive of us and our program, to come into Alumni Hall on Friday night, November 7th, and watch two great games. And Coach Jones at Yale's got a wonderful team returning, and I think they've got a chance to win the Ivy again. And, I think it's going to be a great first test for us.
I know when we talked over the summer, one of the things we discussed was, Air Force coming to town on December 7th, the first time Navy and Air Force have played in basketball in 20 years, and the possibility of maybe you could have a Commander-in-Chief's trophy type of thing for the service academies. How cool would that be, you think, and is there any kind of movement on that at this point?
Yeah, it was one of the things that I wanted to try to do. When I got the job, and Coach Scott was great in the scheduling of it. And, we were able to find a date, and they were willing. It worked for their, scheduling's harder these days because with the transfer portal, now people aren't really starting to schedule until June or July. And in the past, whenever I first got into college basketball 23 years ago, schedules were done by January at the latest, right? And so being able to make it work this year was wonderful. We look forward to keeping the series going, and if there's a way that we can get all three of us to align, I'd be all for it.
That'd be really cool. That would be really cool. All right, Patrick, I apologize because I'm going to nerd out for a second. Coach, I was informed that you're a Dave Matthews Band guy.
I am.
So I don't like talking about this, but in my 20s, in my teenage years, I saw the Dave Matthews Band 100 times. This is not something that I
Wow.
talk about. Yeah, it's been much less frequently. I did see him at Merriweather in the summer, but much less frequently. So give me your go-to. You go to a Dave Matthews show. What are the three songs that you're hoping are on the set list?
Oh man, Dreaming Tree.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Love it, and he never hardly plays it.
No.
Crash and Crush.
I mean,
sure.
Crush is iconic. This is controversial in this group. I am a big fan of the Everyday record, and I love So Right, and I love
Yep.
Angel. Those are two of my favorite songs. And
Yep.
he closed at Merriweather with Granny, which is one of my favorites as well. So,
Oh man, I
That
was
was-
on the road, and Stacy and I couldn't make the Merriweather show, but yeah, 100. You got me beat there. I've seen him a bunch.
I don't
and,
I don't like
yeah.
saying that out loud because
No, that's good. That's a good
no, I lost a lot of my life. I
No.
lost a lot of my life traveling around with
Yeah.
buddies in the summer in my college years, seeing
that's
Dave
great.
Matthews Band. Coach, oh boy, that was a shameful thing. Shameful thing to say.
I can't top it.
No, you're going to go to 600 basketball games this year. So
Glenn, one thing I'm really looking forward to one day, hopefully, is Stacy and I have a 4-year-old and a year and a half old, both girls, beautiful, blessed. Being able to take them to a Dave show will be really
Mhm.
cool.
Is this something that the two of you shared, you and your wife? That was something that,
Yeah, she wasn't as big a fan, whenever we first started dating,
yeah.
but she was a fan, and it's just, it's one of those things that we just enjoy doing,
cool.
and I think, I grew up listening to the Eagles and the Doobie Brothers and a lot of the classics too, because my dad, I mean, music was always on in our home or on the farm where we were always playing. We're working outside, music was playing. And so, and I think the older Dave gets, the better he gets. And some people disagree, but I don't know.
I
just love music in
I
general.
miss Leroy for sure.
Yeah.
That one was noticeable. I'll tell you, I took, he's now 8, my then 7-year-old. I took him last summer to see OAR. It was his first
Yeah,
real
those are
concert
good.
that he
Been
went
to some of those shows
Yeah,
too.
and he had a great time. Again, as we mentioned, the Veterans Classic going to be your first opportunity to see Navy at home this season as they'll take on Yale in game number 2. Tulsa, Rhode Island before that. Just an awesome night to enjoy some basketball down in Annapolis. Coach John Perry, looking forward to chatting with you more as the season goes on. Thank you for spending time with us. We really appreciate you doing this.
Glenn, Patrick, always a pleasure. Go Navy, beat Army.
Thank you, sir. Coach John Perry, your thumbnail on the Midshipmen.
Should be one of the top teams in the Patriot League. When I said earlier that Towson was far and away the team most likely to make the NCAA tournament this year, I should have included Navy as sort of like right there with them, just because they are super experienced. They came super close last year. You have all that continuity. The handoff was really well done last year, and so I think Navy's in position to be back in that last day of the tournament, last day of the season type of thing. And you've seen it enough over the years of teams that get close and then that just sort of pushes them over the top. I mean, you're not going to find a guard that knows the Patriot League as well as Austin Benigni does. A guy that is just utterly fearless. I don't know how much
you're saying he plays bigger than his size.
He absolutely plays bigger than his size, and so the number of times that guy hits the deck over the course of a season, just utterly fearless driving into the paint. Gets the foul line a ton. Last year, I think it was the Patriot League semifinal against Bucknell. He became like the one of 2 Navy players with 20 free throws, or tied a free throw record for the school. David Robinson said it. So
I've heard of him.
Yeah. So I mean, pretty good company to be keeping there. So I think a really interesting team. They do have to deal with expectations though.
Yep.
And last year they were a team that were like. They played really poorly the first month or so of the season. I think they were 0-4 in the Patriot League, something like that. And so they were kind of playing free and loose, by the last month of the season, because like what did you have to lose at that point? There's going to be a little bit more of a target on them this season. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that. Interesting games that they've got in non-conference play. They go to Carolina, and they go to Penn State in November.